Nithyananda, everybody. Welcome back. I'm welcoming welcoming myself back to live on Facebook. Today is going to be part 3, I believe, of the introduction from this book here. This wonderful book, Guaranteed Solutions, written by His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. So yesterday we spoke about, the day before we spoke about the mind map, how it works, how samskaras work. We talked about instinct level, intellect level, and intuition level. And then I stopped at the intuition level. Some part of it, there's more in the introduction where Swamiji talks more about the intuition level and how to recognize, and of course that is the space to be in. What it means and how to recognize it. That's what we're going to look at today, okay? So, okay, Suranga, Nithyanandam, Necha, Nithyanandam. Good to see you guys. Okay, so yesterday where I stopped at before, I'm going to repeat some of it. Swamiji says, be very clear. These moments of intuition are clear signs of the latent power in you. If you recognize and encourage it, you can express the higher dimension of your being. The other day, I had an opportunity to have a meal with Dr. Charles Townes, Nobel laureate in the field of laser and maser. I asked him, how did it happen? How were you able to do this? So he answered in a beautiful way. He said, I was just sitting in a park in Washington, D.C., and suddenly something happened in me. The conclusion was there in me. Suddenly the conclusion was revealed to me. I immediately penned what I got. I then realized that I had a difficulty. I had the conclusion but not the steps. I was not able to present it to anybody else because I knew only the conclusion. I did not know the steps. Then when I sat down, I was able to get the logical steps. Not only with Charles Townes, even Einstein says, whatever new happened to me, it came through intuition, not through intellect. He says beautifully, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Whether we believe it or not, or accept it or not, there is something called intuition in us. Of course, even Einstein calls this as a gift because he didn't know whether it can be consistently had. He is not sure when it will happen and whether it will happen or not. But yogis, the great mystics, again and again say that you can very well work for it and you can be sure about having it all the time. You don't have to think that intuition is a gift. You can work for it. It can become a part of your life. When intuition happens beyond your intellect, your whole being is integrated. You are at your peak. When you are at your peak, something opens. You may call it a revelation or intuition or anything. Yogis have again and again said that it is a science. If you can tune yourself to this intuition or this energy which is continuously available in your being, you can use this in your regular life. Okay, so this is really good because even someone we consider as a genius, someone like Einstein, who is celebrated in the world globally as a genius, he himself made the error of thinking or coming to the conclusion that intuition is a gift, so only some people can have it. Whereas what Bhagavan is saying is that all of us have access to it. It is not about some few that can have access to it because they're gifted, and because we're not gifted for some reason, we cannot have access to it. That's not true. So this is an error. I find that in society we make anyway, that we don't come to proper conclusions. We come to half-baked. We make conclusions based on half-baked information. So the right education in the Vedic culture, Saraswati, is so important. So Vedic culture always gives the right knowledge, which is Saraswati. So you can take the right actions, be Durga, And of course, then you'll have wealth in your life. You'll have everything that you want to manifest. You'll have Mahalakshmi in your life. So the right knowledge is important. Even someone like Einstein, who people follow, of course, because he's considered to be a genius, who will really take his word for everything. So when he says intuition is a gift, of course, everybody's going to believe that. And what Bhagavan is saying here is it's accessible to everybody. So you don't have to, this is one thing we can correct. Okay? And the yogis, of course, who are the great mystics, who know the inner science, who know how to map our inner space properly, are able to give more in-depth knowledge on who we truly are. So here, intuition is the energy of your being. When this pure energy starts coming out from the unconscious level, it also heals you physically, mentally, and emotionally. So that's what. So when we can access, when we allow ourselves to access the energy that is available to us, the true being that we are, the intuition. So if you just take the word intuition here, intuition is the energy of your being. When we allow ourselves to access this energy, then yes, this is the science of how to physically, mentally, and emotionally heal yourself, no matter what you are going through, no matter what situations you've gone through, or no matter what disease you're dealing with. Apart from healing, it reduces stress and helps you to take decisions spontaneously. Oh, living a stress-free life, that's great, isn't it? How many of us that work in the corporate world are able to achieve so-called success, but are extremely stressed? So what Bhagavan says is, working without stress is leadership. If you can work without stress, then that's pure leadership. It's not necessarily about leading hundreds of projects, but you're under a lot of stress. Your heart, your lungs, your health is suffering, your relationships are suffering. No. This way, when you can work stress-free, you can access the intuition level, the intuition energy, then, of course, you can have an all-rounder success. You can have, or not just you, but we can have success in our relationships, we can have success in our health, we can have success in our wealth, we can have success in all areas of our life. And being spontaneous, or how I've noticed that the only times I'm able to be spontaneous is when I'm very, very light. So I'm not allowing these engrams, these heavy files, to get in the way of my expression. Okay, so once again, it comes back to making sure that we are being light beings and dropping all the samskaras that we are holding on to, that are making us again and again be at the instinct level. Hang on a minute. Yeah, at the instinct level where we logically know something is bad for us, but we still do it anyway. So that's the instinct level. That's the engrams. That's the heavy part. So obviously the opposite of reaction is a response, and you can only respond. You can only be spontaneous if you know how to respond in the moment. So spontaneity has nothing to do with the data that you collect. It's not intellect. It's not, use a different word. It's not the intellectual knowledge that we've collected, which means you'll notice that there are a lot of people in the world, and I know I was one of them, that we collect knowledge so we can recall it in order to look intelligent. It is not about looking intelligent, it's about expressing intelligence, which you can download. Especially, you don't need to carry this information overload. You don't need to have information collected like a library, collecting books, collecting dust you don't use. It's got spontaneity has nothing to do with data that you collect. It is something to do with the way in which you process the data. The same data, the same information can be processed in many ways. Intuition is all about how you process data and how you come to the conclusion beyond your intellect. We can prepare ourselves, we can tune ourselves to this energy of intuition through techniques and methods. Now, if you look at Swamiji and how he delivers satsangs, it's done spontaneously. There is no way he prepares for these things beforehand, as in he's read hundreds of thousands of books before he comes. Even if he's going to read a book, it'll be a download. He'll be able to do it in a few hours, which he has, and he shared that he's done it. So this is exactly what Bhagavan is doing. He processes the data. So this is the manana part, the internalizing in the Vedic culture that is taught for all of us. So you first listen, internalize. So it's Shravana, listening, internalizing manana, and Nididhyasana, radiating it. 3 simple steps in Vedic culture. I've shared this before, of how to imbibe knowledge. So this is what Bhagavan does. If you look at his satsangs, the same data, the same information can be processed in many ways. Intuition is all about how you process data and how you come to the conclusion beyond your intellect. We can prepare ourselves. We can tune ourselves to this energy of intuition through techniques and methods. These techniques are what we call meditation. In the East, we use the word meditation to tune ourselves with a higher energy which is in our being, which continuously invites us again and again to experience it. Whenever you find time, just sit with yourself and observe. We are always ready to give an appointment to others, but never to ourselves. If you just sit with yourself, you can always see that some part of your being wants to express, wants to do something more, but we never give the chance or time to that part, to that portion of our being. We are so caught up with our intellect. We think that our intellect is the ultimate again and again, but again and again, yogis prove that something more than intellect is possible. Now I'll stop here for the moment. How many of you have wanted to maybe sing spontaneously or dance spontaneously like you've not been watched? These are parts, or maybe even create a great piece of art. I don't know, there may be different expressions. These are the few that come to mind at the moment. But how many of you have actually wanted to do that, but for whatever reason you're not able to do because your logical part says, well, I don't know how to dance. I haven't taken a singing song lesson, whatever it is. I haven't taken a musical instrument lesson, how to play one. So I can't do that. But actually what I did the other day in the underground was quite interesting. Just with Bhagavan's grace. We'd been enriching pretty much most of the day. We were coming back in the evening, and on the underground, you have different buskers. People who busk, they play musical instruments. So there was one very, very peppy drum player, and he was playing one of these traditional drums. It wasn't Western. I think it was African. And he was so alert and happy. I just wanted to give him some money, just tiny bits of money. But I thought, okay, let me do. But in the meantime, as I was looking for the change, I also then took the opportunity to just start playing his drum, and he was fine. He was absolutely fine with me, just busking with him, if you like. It was good fun. And I was only able to do it because I know through the day I felt quite light about having manifested all the things that I wanted to get done, and it got done. So I was feeling light and I was able to be spontaneous. But at the bus stop today, I was listening to some Garba music. Garba is Gujarati, a traditional Gujarati dance which happens during Navaratri, 9 days in September. And I was listening to the music while I was waiting for the bus, and I really would have liked to have just started dancing in the middle of the daylight. But I know I was restricted in my moves. I wasn't really being completely spontaneous and just going for it. So there's a difference between what Swamiji is saying, right? When we're being light, we can be spontaneous. But when we're thinking too much, then we stop ourselves from really expressing ourselves. Anyway, we're done for the day today. It's quite late, but the two of you are watching. So Rachel, Nithyananda, and Jeanette Nithyananda. So all of you that have been watching, thank you so much for supporting, for listening. I do this every day just to stretch myself and be out, because I know if I don't come out and share, I'll just be lazy and I'll postpone. No point postponing expansion. For that reason, I turn up every day. I trust that you're getting some value from the clips that I'm reading, the pages that I'm reading. I know I'm getting a lot of value to revisit. Bhagavan's books are always, always enriching. Everything about him is enriching. So no matter how many times I've visited something, I do get a lot out of it. So please let me know in any comments if there is something that's missed, or you'd like to hear more of, or you want something changed. Let me know. I'll be uploading the video again on YouTube as well, so that there's a series, if you like, easily available. Facebook's not, we can't list them. So anyway, I wish you a good evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Nithyanandam, take care.